One morning, Scarlowy was in the yard being polished by Nancy, the guard's daughter. Scarlowy was thinking about his friend Reneus, who had gone away to be mended. Reneus comes home now. Reneus comes home tomorrow, said Nancy. What? Tomorrow? chirped Scarlowy. I must look my very best. Please polish me some more. You're such an old fuss pot, laughed Nancy. Duncan was jealous. Aren't you going to polish me too? He asked. Sorry, I have to get the ice lollies ready for the passengers, said Nancy. It's not fair, Duncan complained. Peter sang gets a new funnel. Sir Handel gets special wheels. Passengers get ice lollies, but I'm not even polished. Duncan enjoyed complaining, and he soon began to sulk. That afternoon, there was bad news from up the line. One of Scarlowy's coaches has derailed, called Duncan's driver. We'll have to go there right away. Duncan took the workmen to sort out the mess. All this extra work, he grumbled. It was an engine out. The derailed coach was in the middle of the train, so Scarlowy had gone on to the top station with the front coaches. Duncan brought the rear coaches home. He sulked all the way back to the station. I get no rest, he muttered. He arrived back just in time for his own 4 o'clock train. But he was sulky and wouldn't move. Come on, we're keeping our passengers waiting, his driver reminded him. At last, they set off. Shortly before the next station, they came to a viaduct and Duncan ground to a halt. I've had enough. I'm staying here, he snapped. And he did too. Scarlowy had to come down from the top station to haul Duncan and his train to the platform. The passengers were furious. They burst out of the train and told the drivers, the firemen and the guard, what a bad railway it was. Duncan was still sulky. Why should I have to work hard just to pull silly old passengers? He asked, but no one was listening to him. The thicket troller was waiting for Duncan at the shed. If you won't carry passengers, you won't get polished, he said sternly. I'd rather not be polished if it meant I didn't have to carry passengers, Duncan muttered to himself. But he didn't dare to say it loud enough for the thing controller to hear. I'm ashamed of you, Duncan, said Scarlowy that night. You should think of your passengers, not yourself. Passengers are just nuisances. They're always complaining, replied Duncan. That's no way to talk, said Scarlowy. We need passengers. No passengers means no trains. And no trains means no railway. I remember when Reneus saved our railway because he cared about the passengers. Please tell us about it, said Peter Sam. Scarlowy began. Reneus knew we had to keep the trains running or our railway would have to close. He was often short of steam, but he always struggled onto a station and then rested when he got there. I mustn't stop between stations, he'd say. The passengers wouldn't like it. Pshaw! Huffed Duncan. He had stopped on the viaduct and hadn't cared at all. One wet and windy afternoon, Scarlet continued, when the rails were damp, Reneus was traveling home with a filled train. Ah! I got cramped! He groaned suddenly, and he stopped on the loneliest part of the line. His driver examined him. Your valve gear has jammed. We need to eat to reach the next station.
Right, next station.
Do you think you can get us there? He asked. I'll try, replied Reneus bravely.
No, Elisa.